Okay, good evening, everybody. This is a special meeting, Thursday, November 9th of the Golf Commission. Present at this point are Commissioner Green, Commissioner Richards, Commissioner DeFazio, Commissioner Sienna, Commissioner Lemieux, and Nancy, Commissioner Nancy. Yeah, I know, Commissioner Norton, we'll have to figure that one out. Very good, pledge of allegiance, please remove your hats. Right? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. Thank you. All right. Audience of citizens, well, did we have any audience of citizens on the line, Peter? Nope. Okay, very good. That takes care of that one. Minutes from October 14th. Did everybody receive a copy of the minutes? Mark? Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear us?
Mike is muted. He can.
I don't know. He's got that look like.
He waved to me.
What does it mean? Anything?
I know.
Can you hear? Can you hear?
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
good.
good.
All right, very good. Approval of minutes. Has everybody received and read the minutes of last month? Are there any additional edits or corrections? No? All right. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Commissioner Richards, approve the motion.
October
14?
Second.
14th?
19th.
Is it 19th or 14th?
Oh, sorry. If it was 19,
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
19th.
That's fine, okay. Commissioner Richards, have somebody second that, please? That'd be Commissioner Berger. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, very good. All right, let's go to that one. Old business, bridge update is what's on there. So we're kind of, I think we're kind of, are we kind of boxed in on what we can talk about?
Absolutely locked in.
We're locked in, so we cannot deviate. Very good, okay, Saul, ball's in your court. Bridge update, so what is going on with the bridge?
So Earth Contractors and Atlas Engineer, they were on property earlier this week. They took their measurements, they did their assessments. So they're giving us two choices of bridges. It's concrete bridges. We're not going to reuse the mafia blocks, so it's going to be everything's from scratch. It's the only thing we have to cross right now is to see if there's any regulations for rails.
Interesting.
You know, so we're
We
going.
call those the Commissioner Green rails, right? The 5-foot high rails? Those
Yeah, we don't know if you need them or the certain height, so.
That's right, it has to be got the code, new code,
There's a
right?
code for
It's
it.
all code.
So
Yeah.
we're there with the town engineer to see where that is, so.
So they're gonna give you, what options?
They give us two.
And those are what? What are the two options?
They're both concrete bridges.
So we're not looking at anything similar to what was used over at Lyman? They
What
were,
was in
they
Lyman?
were using,
It was two I-beams and then a wood platform around the
that thing looked like it would handle a tractor and, or a rig. It was huge. But, go ahead,
We were thinking, you know, with the cement longevity, you know, would be really long. You know, to a point to where next time you have to think of it, I don't think any of us would be around.
that's what we're looking at, that makes sense. Okay, and do we have any idea of when or price or when we're looking at going, are we going forward with this? Do we have the funds, do we have the funds to go forward with this thing with the grant money?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we're going to apply for the grant, so as long as the group approves it, we're going to go to council and, you know, have them also approve.
Is the money still available, or is it being allocated for something else?
No, it's being allocated for us. We just have to apply for the grant.
Well, I thought the grant money was already coming from the state.
It's a LoSiP.
Alright, so it's coming from the state to the town,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is it an automatic grant, or we have to apply for it? And is there a cutoff of when that has to
From
come
my
in?
understanding, it's with the town already, the funds, because we haven't used LoSiP
Okay.
in a couple of years, and you gain about $125 a year through LoSiP, so.
What's LoSiP?
I don't know the whole acronym, but it's where you get, funds through grants
From the state,
from the state.
and the town's already applied for it,
Oh, we have been for years.
so we have the money.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
And I think it's used for recreational, is it used for recreational purposes? Is
I
that
think
what-
so. I think you're right about that.
Yeah, it comes from OPM, right? It's coming from OPM to the state, and then, but it's if I'm not mistaken, it's everybody who has, it's Park and Rec wants that certain things done too,
Yeah,
correct?
we're not the only ones.
Yeah, so who
dipping
determines,
into
who
LoSiP.
determines who gets what?
Finance.
So what,
And BOF, Board of Finance.
okay, and then,
And
so who,
then I'm pretty
what-
sure it's been approved for us, so.
okay. Can you find out for sure where we stand on
Sure.
that thing? And so what we're looking as far as a timetable?
Well, I mean, we're hoping, our town engineer lets us know the coding by next week. And once they get that information, they'll finish their, drawings and we could actually get a price on them.
I mean, we're not going with stone or any, I mean, how could I say this? Yes, we want structure, but, I mean, it doesn't have to be like masonry work on the side, we're not talking Taj Mahal here, you know what I mean? Correct, I mean, because that was, Jerry had originally said, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys can correct me with this, he was looking at having stone work on the side, I mean, he wanted this, beautiful stuff, but it was out of our price range, right? So we're,
Right now, we're just looking at the actual bridge and, having a seamless transition from car path to bridge. The aesthetics of it, is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about?
yeah,
I don't know if we're into that yet.
alright.
What's the
So,
time
well-
frame?
Hold on. So I got a question.
What's
Time
the-
frame, like I said, is hopefully next week, they actually get the coating for the railings and finish their,
But installation, I mean, are we talking fall, spring, next fall,
if you ask me, it's gonna be spring.
spring?
Yeah. Just seeing how things move and the speed it's moving.
So they're doing concrete, you're saying, right?
So they can pour in the wood there if they put the antifreeze in there.
No, just sometimes it's like getting on someone's schedule
Got it.
is sometimes hard.
So,
Does it have to go out to bid? I'm sorry, Jim.
That's
I was
also
just gonna
another
ask one
thing.
question. So I mean, they wanna do it in concrete, and because I brought up before about just doing the pipe light.
Mhm.
I mean, I seen it done with the pipe, and I mean, it
What do you
seems
mean,
like it's like a tube. And so they got the concrete one too, and then you can put the dirt on top of it, and where the water runs in between.
But you have to put a but you have
Right,
to put,
but when I was at
structure
Ridgebrook,
above.
they had it over there, and I was looking at the way they had it there, and like it's nice, and it's a bridge, and I don't see why it can't hold over at Timberland,
Probably
so you don't have to
does.
pour, so the pipe just comes in, and you put the sod on top of that, and keep going.
no, you can't put just sod.
You
No,
can,
no.
no, because what it is, it's like a bridge. I mean, well, you're not gonna, because you're gonna use a bridge, so you're gonna have to pave on top of it.
Yeah,
Okay, you can put gravel or whatever you wanna put on top, but it's just a big tube that goes
Well,
around.
this has to hold
And it'll hold the water.
emergency vehicle, well, not only that, the water's not,
Well,
that's
that-
only part of one, but the other one, you have to have.
Well,
emergency
let's see,
vehicles.
let's put it this way, the emergency vehicles, I don't think they're gonna be going across a bridge out there.
Well, you never know,
Unless,
but you have to,
only on certain areas, like I would say like maybe 17. If something happens on 17, between 17 and 18, I can see them there, but anywhere else, I think they can get in.
isn't this why we have town engineers and Sol to
Yeah,
figure all
yeah.
this out?
Yeah,
Let them do their job.
yeah.
so we'll know next week as far as the code goes, and then after that, then you're gonna, I mean, are you working with the purchasing people here as far as the RFP goes, and when, do we need to do an obviously we have to do an RFP, because there's
Because the amount of
the
the
amount of money
project
that
is
we're
very
dealing with,
big.
right?
Mhm.
Are we doing all the bridges?
Very good, might as well do them all at once, right, I agree with that, that's it.
Including 2 on 14 or just
Well,
one?
I know, like, the school, they wanna donate another bridge, so, we gave them a choice of, a couple bridges. The one we're really trying to push on them is the, on 14, the
To the
left.
left.
The walking,
left.
Yeah.
yeah,
So it kind of matches the one they did from 17.
17, yeah.
So they looking for donation for that one too?
From my understanding is they're donating it to us, and the only thing we have to do is actually put it on.
We gave them a
We're
donation
installed.
of $500, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, the last
The
time.
last time, correct? In order to offset some of the cost of the materials. That was,
Yes, we did.
you know,
Yes, we did.
that's the preference I'm taking.
But I think that, pardon?
As long as the railings.
No,
But
that-
I- but I-
Remember
I
that,
think
$500.
But I don't think they asked for it, I think we just decided to
You
do
think that's
that.
what it was?
No, they asked for it.
They did ask for it, I thought that we
They came-
just
yeah, they came
decided
in.
to help them
The
out.
three of them, the three of them came in.
The kids
with their
came
products,
in,
Yeah, the
yeah.
engineering.
Yeah, I
came in.
remember, yeah.
They said they're procuring funds and everything else, so, you know, it was hinted, hey.
$500 was a steal.
Nice bridge.
Yeah,
The next one, it's gotta get a little wider, cause if you have a walking bag.
Oh my goodness, if you have the cart too, the electric cart, it's like, you know,
Is it tight?
it's, yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
pinball in
Yeah,
there, yeah.
you cannot walk with a bag hanging off you. on the
Yeah.
bridge.
Well, so, and that's an interesting point, Peter, you know, because if you make it wider, people are going to try to take the carts over those
So they
things.
put a cement tube right in front of it.
Right,
Done.
right.
Interesting, alright.
Or,
So-
and maybe the rails don't have to be as high as those are, cause those are very high.
They're very
That was
But-
code.
The one on 17 you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
that is high, that is right.
Oh, maybe
They were
that's
code.
That was
Maybe
code,
that's code.
that was code, 'cause we were kind of surprised too, to be honest with you. But,
Well, that bridge at Lyman's brand new, only a couple years old, and so the rails are only this high. It's not a
Really?
walk-in bridge, it's the one, the Lyman, the one we're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
They don't have high rails, the rails are
Yeah,
only
the
this
new
high.
one at Rockland.
So if they come back and say that all these bridges need 4-foot high rails, something's wrong.
That's interesting,
Yeah,
yeah.
somebody gonna fall?
Yeah, the most of bridges don't have
No.
much walls.
Okay, alright, very
Hey,
good.
just so your definition of LoSAP,
Yeah,
local capital improvement program,
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we have to go
Alright.
for.
Distribution of funds to municipalities to reimburse the cost of eligible local capital improvement projects such as roads, bridges, public buildings,
Oh.
etc.
interesting,
Thank
thank you, Sal.
Alright.
Is that, Sal, send the song, one of the two S's over there, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You might wanna double up on that privilege.
I'll take that under advisement, Commissioner DeFazio. Keep, what's good with interest too. Alright, anything else for the old bridges update? No? Good. New business, we'll go straight down, 2024 rates.
I know, last year, I think we handed it in January, so, you know, that's coming up. I know recently, we've been getting questions about, you know, what season pass pricing will be next year, and, you know, I know Mark's been getting some inquiries as well for, if not outings, you know, other things, so, you know, do you have a copy of what we did last year, or, you know, for 23? So,
Yeah, but I have a clarifying question.
Yeah.
These are the proposed rates for 23, aren't these the actual?
no, I think these are the actual.
Okay,
so
thank you.
I know it says proposed there.
Yeah, I looked on the website and
Yeah,
So these are the actual,
yeah,
in
Okay.
the gray column,
okay,
it
Yeah,
says
I got
proposed,
it, right, okay, I'm sorry, okay.
those are,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so we still have to cover our costs, correct?
But we don't know, we don't have a
We-
budget yet. do we?
that's due at the end of the month,
End of what month?
this November 30th.
Oh,
is
the final is,
what our budget is.
fine,
Okay.
okay,
So,
Proposed, but it's
uh,
not finalized.
no, it's
till
not finalized till April, but
okay,
what we would be working with.
yep,
So I would imagine on our next meeting, we definitely dive into it. Cause by then we'll have a projection on what their, you know, budget is. Does anyone have any, you know, comments on what they think we might have to do or stuff like that, or?
Well, I do. If we're not gonna spend the money that's been budgeted this year, then I say we hold all the rates the way they are, because the last 2 years, we gave a lot of money back, and the golfer paid for that, so, you know, we gotta see
Actually,
where.
the last 4 or 5 years, it's about $500,000.
And I agree with you, Peter.
So,
I agree.
You know, if we're gonna spend all the money that we're budgeted on golf course and things like that, and the budget comes in higher next year, then we take a look at it, but, you know, we went up on the rates for the last several years, and we just gave a lot of money back, so it's not fair to the golfer, because the golfer is funding this golf course pretty much.
And other town expenses.
That's correct.
Yes.
That's a very good point, yeah.
I have a question regarding that. So on when you look at the year-to-date October, the very first column is the budget, the 2024 budget. We actually budgeted a $33,000 profit? Is that what we did? I can't remember back
I
then.
think it was even, around there.
Yeah, it was a little bit more, we
Yeah.
weren't sure.
We
because
had,
the-
extra on,
Yeah, it was close to 50,000 if I'm not
Wow.
mistaken.
I was gonna say 40.
Yeah, but
Okay, I just was wondering.
Yeah, you know,
I couldn't remember.
I was looking at the numbers compared from 2022 to 2023, and I'm a little bit confused. The rounds are up compared to 2022. We went from 41,594 to 44,377 right now for 23. Go down and look at CIP. CIP was $64,000 2022, and 2023 we're at 62,000.
yeah,
But the rounds are up right now. Right now, not end of the year, right now.
yeah, but this
So
is,
what
but
we
that's the
missing?
full, that's the full year.
Yeah.
That's the full year.
Yeah.
So you still have 2 more, a month and, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but we got more rounds now.
Yeah, but that's a full month.
Look at it,
Well, I
44,000
just-
rounds, all right, compared to 41,000 rounds. CIP should be higher.
Well.
I mean-
our-
Nine holes. A round is 9 or 18. So keep in mind there might have been more 9-hole rounds, or and it's only $1.
Right.
You're looking at the amount. So
Probably
just keep
more.
that in mind. It's $1 for 9, 2 for 18.
3,000, we're talking almost 2,500, 28,000 rounds. 2,500 rounds that are 9 holes, you're saying, compared to 18.
Where do you get 2,500?
Doesn't sound
This is
right.
20
I mean-
on Marks, it's 2,300 right here.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's 41,594, 44,377. We have that many more 9-hole rounds compared to 18? I don't know.
What sheet is he looking at?
I don't know, what are you looking at?
Not here.
I'm looking at this.
40, yeah.
40,
41,
Oh,
44,
yeah, that's.
2,700 rounds.
oh, wait, I got, there's 2 sets of that, there's 2 sets of those now.
Just doesn't sound right.
The rounds are through October, but the CIP is through the whole year last year. That's the only difference there.
Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay,
Through October.
I'm sorry, yep.
It's through October. That's the rounds. And then the CIP for 2022 is through the whole year.
But our CIP is lower.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, by 2,500, I'm sorry, okay, I got it.
That's what I brought up last month.
I don't know.
The only way you know is to compare 9-hole rounds this year versus last year, 18-hole rounds this year versus.
And
Just
like,
doesn't look, just doesn't
For
look
those
right.
for those two figures, you gotta wait till the end of the year
Yep.
to really get a good idea.
well, a little of that is probably pennies compared to that is the express, like you probably have to bill people for some of their CIP yet, right?
I'm pretty up to date on it.
How's that working out, on that express thing?
You have a couple here, no, well, maybe
I
one or
use it.
2 that use it here. I think it's been working out well.
Very good.
Yeah, I've heard good comments about it.
My comments when it comes to the race, though, I agree with, Peter and Gail, and that, put it this way, the cart rates, I think we have higher cart rates than any of the courses I know. And we don't have GPS, and it's the basic model. I mean, no offense, it's just the way it is, right? And I mean, $12 is like the going rate. It doesn't seem like a lot, but 15 for 9 is like,
Yeah,
holy
I
cow.
think that, yeah,
You know,
that's
that's kind
probably the one complaint we've had,
I'm sorry?
that's been a complaint
Yeah,
from a
yeah,
lot of
and
people,
so, I mean, that's,
the rate, cart rate.
the other, hold on, I did look at this. And a lot of repairs, they're still not done, I mean, it's, you know, you still come back to some of the things that we've started, they're taking forever to get done, you know, the T-box on 16, up on top on 16, I mean, it's just, you know, how can I say, listen, the course is in beautiful shape right now, it really is. You know, it's just like, it's a lot of rough around the edges, that's, you know, we have the same thing I'm sure every other course has, or a lot of the courses have is, you know, as soon as you get off the pavement, it's just torn up. So, you know, how do we deal with this going down the road? I mean, it's just, it's something, I don't have an answer for you, I just don't, but I'm just voicing my opinion and others, and it's just, you know, it's like running a Bronco sometimes, it's like boom, 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 you gotta be very careful how fast you go, otherwise, you know, things are gonna fly all over the place, and your ender's gonna come out of your mouth, it's like, it's crazy, you know, but I don't know how we deal with that, I just don't. I'm just voicing the opinion of people that we played with. I mean, I played with Sebby one time, and the gentleman was saying the same day, it's just too expensive. You know, and we're more expensive than Hunter. We're more expensive than Stanley. It's just, and that's our competition. It really is. So,
Yeah.
on one hand, you say, listen, it's great that we have the rounds. Don't get me wrong. It's great that we have the rounds, that we have that. The question is, you know, are we pricing ourselves out of the market? And it doesn't appear to be, but are there rounds that are not now being sold because it's cheaper to go somewhere else? And I don't know. I mean, it's a,
I think
you know, it's a balancing act. So I don't know. It's just something for everybody has to chew on for a little bit and think about that. And you know, what are we trying to achieve and what are we trying to do? And you know, but going forward, it's if we're gonna have to raise the rates, you know, in order to cover costs, then you know, what are we getting? Or, you know, are we getting the value that we should be getting?
Not to raise rates, we can look at the number of rounds.
Yeah, no, we don't, yeah, I know that's one too. And just rather than use the average, use that and go from there, it's just, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to skin this cat,
Correct.
you know?
But what I see out of some of the cart paths, it's like 18, that's the only one I see, and number 1, that's the two bad parts of that golf course that I see on for the,
Almost all of them have that, oh, they all
but
do.
number 1, because you come up that side, and you can see where it washed up, and then on 18, you get that little, where they had the melons there, if they can backjack that out, that'll smooth that out a little bit, so you can work with that. But, and then, we were supposed to use that melon that they took out of there, we were supposed to use that for some of that, to cover up for the cart paths.
I don't know if they did or not, I don't know,
No.
they didn't?
They didn't use any of it. And they was gonna use it on number 1.
But that dirt, I mean, the dirt it's like concrete up there, you know, and it's not there, a lot of them are like that, so obviously grass can't really grow on that until it's, you know, dug up basically and re-leveled off, but it's just, you know, those are comments that I've got from other people.
Yep.
And I'm sure we've all heard it, I mean, people always corner you when you're out there, you know, hey, you know, what about this and this, and listen, that's part of the job, right? It's just the way it is, so.
But we've been talking about the cart pass for a long time,
Well, that's true.
for years.
Listen, if I ever won Lotto and donate the money, we'd have Court Pass,
Oh, Jim,
the whole thing.
buy a ticket for tonight?
Nah, I don't believe it. My wife does, it's like, I don't play.
Hey, Jim, can I just say something real quick?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it looks like revenue and rounds are pretty consistent year after year. Like we never get a huge drop in rounds. The revenue seems to always be going up, and this year same. Would you be open to making the CIP a different figure, like $2 for 9 and 3 for 18 or 4 for 18? This way the money stays at the course. Because it sounds like the money's going elsewhere over the last 4 years, and I mean, that way it wouldn't go anywhere. I mean, if you want to keep the rate, go up on the rates $1 or something, maybe you just do a pure CIP. Can you change the CIP figure that goes into each round? That would seems like a loophole.
If anything,
I guess.
I would keep it level, Mark, because the problem is not, the problem's internal, as far as not spending the money. So let's just call it what it is, that's an internal problem, that we didn't spend the money. That's not, you know, anything to do with anything that the golfers have, but it's an
There's two
internal.
issues. There's not spending the money that were budgeted and also coming out in the black.
Correct. Well, all you have to do is, listen, you don't even have to come out in the black, let's come out in zero. If you just spent that money,
Spend what
you know what, at the end of the day, they could have taken that money and thrown it into CIP. You can always shift that money around, right? You'd have to go to the council and say, listen, I wanna put this money into a reserve for something, and that's, no, you can't, I know you can, because,
I know you can do it, I
but
don't think.
it's never,
Not into
they haven't-
CIP you can, but they could
but they
They
could
can
put it,
move it into equipment account
That's
or
correct.
or this, or they could.
that's
they
correct,
could-
but you have to spend it
They
within
can
3
move
years.
money around to do stuff, yeah.
And that's, you know what, that's shame on us, because that money was sitting there all this time, and we just threw it back into the general fund. Well, it didn't have to be done, and, you know, as long as you show a dollar profit or a zero, then it doesn't really matter, it's not you, but I'm looking at you, so, this is the mindset that we have to have with this thing. So you take the money, you know, it doesn't go back to the general fund, but you put it in a reserve account for something that you need to buy, like we need to buy new mowers, whatever, so, you know, there's, rather than give back $100,000 or $200,000 this year, I could put that in 150 of that and say, listen, I need 3 or 4 new mowers, I need new, you know, carp, or whatever it could be, you know,
I think
that's-
Mark has a good idea.
I don't wanna.
If you double up that CIP, we'll just say that's 70,000 more dollars, and you know you've profited 6 figures every year. So there's a pretty good buffer there, anyways, in case you don't have a great year based on the budget. So and that money cannot go anywhere else. CIP can't go, right? Like it's got to stay at the course. So
No,
I just think that's kind of a workaround to.
Change or something, though.
The dollar, that was in order to pay for the improvements, that, you know, when it was put in.
And, you know, the golfers are gonna say, hey, you're raising the rates.
You're right, you have to look at it.
Doesn't matter where it's
What's
going,
Thank
you're
you.
raising the
Doesn't matter
rates.
what you're raising.
That's
If
how
you
I
reduce
do
the
it.
rates and keep it the same as this year, but increase the CIP, yeah, I'm for that, but keep the rates
Oh,
the,
yeah, the rates go
Yeah,
shouldn't
it's
be.
a- can't- you
the
can't-
golfers are
No,
gonna say,
they don't really care where it goes, I mean, in my opinion.
right,
Right, you're right,
You know,
you're right.
it doesn't
all
matter.
they see is the bottom line.
Well, that's right, I'm paying out more money, so at the end of the day, again, it's an internal problem. It's an internal issue, you know, fiscally, and you know what, shame on us, not us, but shame, you know, people in charge of that, for letting that happen, that's all there is to it.
Why aren't we spending the money?
Well, that's the $50 million question, because we've been harping on this for how long, and
We
so.
ought to have, you know, a cost set up so that we can do the cart paths, so we can do this, and we're gonna do it all year, right, through the next year. You know, really, to make sure that we spend that $120,000.
You're right.
Otherwise, it's not gonna happen,
Well,
as it hasn't.
the only way that you can do this, and this is, I can give you from my perspective, is you have a budget, it hasn't really even been finalized. Well, we already know the fiscal year 2023 is gonna be ending, you know, next year, right, fiscal year 20, right?
Mhm.
We know our costs are gonna be, we know the revenues, you really didn't know, you have 6 months, you have an overlap, 6 months in one fiscal year, 6 months in another fiscal year, right? And so, unless your rounds really go plummet, you can't lose. You know, the house always wins because you have costs, 6 months of costs that are associated with, the last year. That's you know exactly where I'm going with this thing, right? And the other, but so it really becomes, you have to look at your numbers come February.
Correct.
You have to be on top of your numbers, and at that point say, fine, now I can spend my money. I already know I know what's gonna happen. I know based upon, Mark, you know, month after month, you know exactly where we're gonna stand, because it's basically the same, they're pretty close. They are pretty close, right? So you already know what you're gonna get, as far as the rounds go and who's gonna spend and what. So, you know, once you do that, you know what your expenses are, so you can kind of project where your profit's gonna be, probably within 10%. Right, you already know that, so then, now you have to start spending the money. And that's really what it comes down to, so now, and if I'm not gonna spend it, then I need to put it in a reserve account, so when I can spend it. That's on you right now. So, you know,
Yeah, it's looking at this, as you say, in February, and what items, you know, do you need to move to get what you need to get done for the
you
parade?
already know where, you know what the number's gonna be. You already know what the number's gonna be within 10%. So at that point, you can say, fine, now I can start spending. And that's how you have to look at this thing, you know, and say, you know, it's not like I made that money in the last month, right? I mean, it's, right, in June, it doesn't matter, because they're gonna close their books, what, the second week in June? Is that when they, you know, most likely they close them off and they cut you off, you know, so everything has to be in and done before then.
Correct.
And it's no different than any other one of our budgets that we had, it's just, you already know what you gotta do.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of doing it,
And we
right?
talked about
And we've
this.
talked about this ad nauseam, and
Yeah.
Right.
you know what? So now you're here, this is on you. You know, and
And if we can help with that, but we don't know, you know, you're gonna know better than us what buckets, you know, this money has to get moved to spend it the way it needs to be spent.
So otherwise, you're gonna, so if you see, you know, a project needs to be done,
that's,
you know that money,
It's
right
gonna
on that
do it.
project.
boom,
That's
start-
it,
so
you know it's
start doing it.
So next year you save or whatever
Yeah.
for that next project, bingo.
That's it, or otherwise you take that money, and you say, listen, I'm gonna set up a reserve and transfer it to that, and in 3 years I wanted to figure this thing out. But that's for that, you just can't say, oh, now, you know, I wanted jackets, and I said, no, I need hats now, whatever, I'm just throwing something out there. But that's what it has to be for, right? So, you know, bunkers now come into play also, right? And so, you know, listen, I did this with Jonathan, and if you want, we'll spend some time, it'll take some time to get this thing set up, but we can run, I mean, you have enough people with financial knowledge in this building, in this room, in order to do this thing. This is not rocket science, and that way you'll know what's what, because I can guarantee your expenses don't really change that much. You already know month to month what's gonna happen. That's fair enough,
Are
right?
we, are we gonna make any adjustments at all to the prices? I think we should cut, I really do think that the cart,
The
are
cards,
too high,
I
I
think
think
the
we
cards
should
are
get down
too
to
high, too.
12.
I agree, the cards are too high, but we didn't know, I
Yeah.
mean,
I wouldn't raise them, but I certainly wouldn't lower them.
Keep them where they are, cause they're already used to it.
That's right.
You think
So
they're
keep it
used
that
to
way
it?
it is,
Yeah.
keep it that way it is right now,
Well,
there's no
the
reason.
course is full,
Right.
It's full and people are riding cars.
Right.
course is full, it's
Right.
hard to get a tea time,
Yeah.
rounds are up, revenue's up, I
mean,
agree, I would
I would
raise
never,
it
I would never lower the rate, I mean,
I wouldn't
because
either.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
but keep it
Then
the
it's gonna
same.
be tough to
Keep it
go,
the-
but I mean, yeah, I mean, if we don't have to raise them, maybe we'll give everybody a breather this year,
Right.
for 1 year.
Agreed.
Just, yeah,
You
just-
know,
Yeah, well, I
if
don't
the
think
course
we should
loses
raise
a couple
them.
of bucks, so be it, it was in the
Right.
black for years. You know, I mean, we've had some pretty bad weather
This
this
year
year,
we
Yeah.
so- and the rounds are still up.
Exactly.
You're right, and you, yeah, that's a good point, like, what, at least rain it one every weekend, you know,
A
so.
lot of rain.
and like you said, they're already used to the price, so I would keep it just where it is.
Yeah, I would.
Again, we just gotta see what the budget is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
So we'll have that before our December meeting,
Okay.
but that's our proposed budget, when does have council approve it, not till?
April.
April.
Now,
So
after the rates
You
are-
have to have that you have to have that to the town by in February, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it was last year,
Yeah,
right?
Oh, I
So-
thought you
but
said
for
the
my
end of
budget, the proposed budget is this month.
this month.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it
but
gets-
that's-
it doesn't get approved till after we
Till after.
approve the rates.
Right.
Yeah.
So we look at the budget
And then figure out,
and you know what the reality is, of they usually cut it in.
They cut the budget every time, every
Right,
year,
so-
the budget, the proposed budget is cut, but our rates were based on the proposed, which
Right.
was, ended up being less anyway.
Well, that's why, yeah.
It's a double, it
Yeah.
happens
You
every year,
can't-
it's
it's
a
like-
So I
trouble,
think,
man.
I agree that this, maybe this year is,
give everybody a break,
the house always wins, right?
house always wins.
Yep. Just the way it is.
That's why there's 0 and 00 on a roulette wheel, Changes
My golf
everything.
balls, man. Love that number.
changes
getting-
everything.
Just getting back to the money though, I would like to see the money targeted. You know, starting in February, we're gonna say, we're gonna do these
And
projects
outline.
this year, and target the money for that, so that it gets done in that year.
Well, that's part of your,
Otherwise,
part of your plan.
you know,
Just,
those-
so what do you do? And you have to get somebody on board and that quick, you know, and then it's just.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. All right,
Alright.
outing, policies and contracts.
so you guys have a copy of, what we have this year. Things we'll probably wanna add is something for inclement weather and cancellation policy that we talked about the last
Yeah.
meeting.
Yep.
For, making the call on the day of, is that something we should put on, or, if it's gonna go?
That's
or
up
not?
to you, that's your call. I mean,
I think you have to put it, I'd look to you to make a recommendation.
Mhm.
You and Mark make a recommendation.
Yeah.
I
Because the food's up, if they're
Something I
eating,
could recommend.
if they're, go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead, Mark.
So I'm thinking about Ramsey as well. I think that we've had to deal with the inclement weather more this year than any other year for outings, just because of when it rained. But I just think that going forward, and I don't know what other places do, but I think that we should put in there that they should do the food regardless. So they should show up for their luncheon or whatever, regardless. And then obviously if the course is playable and open, they can go play. If for whatever reason the course is unplayable, it's pouring, it's not going to be a good day, then they have a couple options. They could either reschedule or we can give them a voucher rain check every player. But no matter what, you get them on property that day to have the food. And then obviously, if the course is closed, then they have two options. We can reschedule, or every player that's there that day can get a rain check. I just think that it's kind of a cut and dry way to do things, because we had both ends. I mean, we had outings cancel the day of, kind of like we were talking about, and we had outings cancel a day prior, and the course ended up being open. So
But that's not.
I just think that this is a cut and dry way to do things. But again, open for discussion.
But who makes that call?
And we guarantee the money too, right off the bat, you guarantee the money.
Yeah, but who makes, the question, I think a couple things come into play here. And has everybody really looked, has everybody looked at this thing?
Yes.
Okay, good. Your point is well taken, but the question, who makes that call? The two of you? Not the people who have the contract with you, right? It's not up to them to say, well, hey, I think it's gonna rain, tomorrow or 3 days from now, so I wanna cancel. It doesn't work that way. It's up to you guys. You have we booked a course, or you booked a course, and we're giving up time, whether you like it or not, you're giving up times. And, that could have been sold. So, I mean, we're losing money too, if you think about it.
Well,
It's
that's what happened this year.
That's why I recommended this.
all right,
That's
so-
exactly why. You get the money no matter what.
Yeah, and that's fine, and I deal with the rain checks like that, but I went through this and started looking at some of this stuff here, and, it's $5 for the range per player. That seems like an awful lot. Doesn't it?
That's what you guys decided.
That's what we.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
you guys set the rates.
We actually said that since we don't know where we stand, what's gonna happen this year, even with the range and the whole 9 yards, that this was like the test year, correct? We talked about this stuff, that this would be the test year to determine, what's gonna happen with the range, and is it too high, is it not too high? Right, so, to me, if I'm having 144 people come, $5 a head, that seems like an awful lot, but that's one.
Well, no, I
You
don't,
don't-
if you come in and you buy a book, Jimmy, you're gonna pay $5. If you get a
I'm
small,
guaranteeing you 144 people right now.
but true, but you
Couple
still-
outings.
Go ahead.
We had a couple outings that also thought that was high. And what they did is they bought like 15 large buckets of balls instead. And I
Okay.
mean, they supported their outing
That's
and they had no
fine.
issues, and it was way less than 5 per player.
Yeah,
So that's an option for
that's
us.
an option then, okay,
Mhm.
that's fair enough.
I'm fine with that.
The,
Jim, I got a question.
I got questions on this thing too.
Yeah, in Article 8, alright, it's recommended that the
Article what, 8?
contract with Ramsey, the restaurant.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how that's gonna work. Because, if we cancel on a certain time because of rain or weather, and We need to know what's his contract with the group.
Well, that's what it's saying, the food's gonna be served no matter what.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying there, it doesn't matter, you cancel, that's fine, but
Then
he bought this food ahead of time,
Well,
so
then-
he's stuck.
So he needs to come up with a contract that says all that.
Right,
That's
so
on
we,
him.
who's gonna go after, okay, so.
So,
That's it, that's not us, this is.
and I would suggest a separate contract is required, not recommended,
Yeah,
is
Yeah.
required with the restaurant.
Exactly.
And then that's up to Ramsey and let him make, it's his money,
Right.
correct.
Yeah.
so
No,
let
you're
him
right.
come up with, just like Saul's gonna come up with a recommendation, and, or Mark made a recommendation on reschedule rain check, let,
Well, I have a question on the rain check. If the course is closed, that's when we issue a rain check or reschedule, correct? If the course is open for play, if we
tournaments
give them a rain check, then we're not making money because we're
Right.
giving all that back,
on.
right?
Agree.
Am I correct in saying that if the course is open, they play?
Yes.
They don't have to, but they
Correct.
pay.
Correct.
But
The key is getting them there that day. Like we got to get them on property, and that's why the food I think should be held regardless. And then obviously we'll know while they're on property if the course is open or not.
Right,
Same rule like the men's club. If the course is open and the carts are allowed,
you play.
they play. And if they don't play, that's on them.
Then I think that needs to be spelled out.
Oh, yeah,
Yes, I mean, there's some things on this.
Yeah, but if the course is closed,
Right,
they can
so they
reschedule
don't,
or
they
get a
really
voucher.
don't have the option to cancel.
Correct.
They can cancel, but they still have to pay the vig.
That's on them, yeah. I mean, we did a couple of big tournaments this year because we're nice people. And the weather turned out to be nice and we lost money. One tournament canceled altogether. So we never got a penny.
So that's
And we gave up the course.
Yeah, right.
So, and this will eliminate all that.
And this is why, that's why we're talking about it now, because we lost them. See, so now,
That
next
was a
year,
big one.
right, next year we won't lose the money because they've signed a contract.
Yeah. Article 3, so we're gonna, the typical golf club tournament director, that's gonna be constant throughout this whole contract? Right? It's not the director of golf, it's the tournament director?
Yep.
Fine, okay, so Article 3, it says no personal coolers with alcohol will be allowed on the course, alcohol donations are prohibited. So, do you wanna have something in there that all alcohol must be purchased through the restaurant or the permittee? Right? I mean, or work that out, however they're gonna work that
It
out.
says that, right?
It's Article 8.
All food and beverage must be provided by Timberland Department of
And I think we have to do.
But, I mean,
Yeah,
spell it out.
We can move that up, the
I
alcohol
would
part.
spell that, I mean, we do not have.
What is alcohol donation?
Somebody says, I wanna donate a keg of beer for
Yeah,
this
but
tournament.
Like a
yeah.
bar donates it to the outing, and then they bring it on premise.
You have an outing and say
Yeah.
Avenue Groove or whoever is gonna donate, listen, they're sponsoring this.
Yeah.
Right, that's,
So he's bringing up cases
He's
of
bringing-
beer,
yeah.
that's not allowed.
you
You
can't,
gotta
yeah.
get it from Ramsey.
Yeah.
Right.
So it should say alcohol beverages, not just alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
Well, you don't wanna say alcohol beverages are permitted, cause you can go into Ramsey's and buy a beer.
but you have to buy it through the
Yeah.
permit.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct,
Right.
that's what would be helpful.
All the liquor
I
should
would
be
say,
bought
I
through the
wouldn't even
restaurant.
say par for the course. I would just say
I
the
would put it-
committee.
That,
This way here,
see,
the contract does not have to be written
Well,
if
that,
if another company comes in.
that's perfect, you wanna make it generic, so it flies, whatever it's gonna be, so it's gotta be through the permittee. All the way through, so I think it should not be Ramsey's part of the course, but it should be the restaurant, whatever that is.
Whatever.
So that way you don't have to change this, and that's actually one of the things I have in here. So the contract will be paid in full within a week. So what happens if, if they don't pay with a week after the tournament is done? What happens? Is there a fine?
I'm not sure what the answer is to that.
Mark? Mark's gone, so if,
He's gone. There he is.
Mark? You good?
He
Can't hear you.
I didn't hear any of that.
Well, what happens if, have you had situations where they haven't paid within a week after the tournament's over?
I mean, over my 13 years, yes, but this year I didn't have any problems.
Okay, so do you wanna put something in there that we kind of, ensure that there's a penalty if they don't, pay within a week? Is it that, or should we just kind of let that fly? You don't want to chase dollars, is what I'm trying to say. Usually, you have to pay within. a
That's
certain number of
completely
days.
up to you guys. I mean, it's really
But
up to you what you want in there.
That's, to me, it's a contract with the town. It's just like your bills. If you don't pay within a certain period of time,
Right,
right?
And they
exactly.
hit you with a
They hit you with a
charge.
penalty. So
Right.
it's just a thought. I mean, something
If
to
you
think
don't,
about.
if you don't pay your water bill, or excuse, that might not be the town. If you don't pay your taxes, they give you 30 days, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they give you a penalty.
Then there's a penalty.
That's what the town has in place.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to say, what if it's not paid, so,
So why don't we do it 30 days? I mean, because the town, that's what the town does anyway.
well, they say it's a week after you have to make payment, if
Yeah,
not
we
within
don't
30
wanna
days,
wait
if not
30
paid within
days
that
for
30
the
days.
money.
I don't know, you don't wanna contradict yourself between 30 days
I would
and a
say
week.
payment is expected within 7 days, however, post 30 days, there can be a
A
penalty
fee, yeah.
assessed or something. So you wanna get it within a week,
$100
but after 30 days, it's
A
a
penalty
penalty,
will be.
Yeah, 10% penalty,
Exactly.
a 10% penalty of
or whatever,
whatever it's gonna be,
Yeah.
point and a half or whatever. it
yeah,
is.
whatever.
And I agree with Peter, I would say, make your language consistent in Article 5, you have 5 days.
It's all, it's through the whole
Just
document,
say, within 7 days.
but that part for the course thing, is through the whole document. You also have an issue down on Article 11, the shotgun. Now, the 72 players, it's for
You
that,
have to update
it's a
that.
72 and 120, right?
That's what agreed upon.
That's what we
yeah.
agreed upon, so this has to be changed.
Yeah.
And then there's another one on Article,
It's not 144?
is it 120, no, it's
It's
120. It's 120 to close, right, it's more than 120 on the weekend, Mark?
120 on the weekend.
Mark, 120 on the weekend, right?
Right now, there's nothing in place, but I mean, that would be my recommendation, be 120 for the weekend.
Right,
Yeah, 120 on the weekend.
At least 100. I mean, you gotta at least have 100.
120, we said
We
120.
agreed to 120 in
Yeah.
the last meeting.
That's correct. Alright, and then the other one, Article 16. I don't know why you go from 12 to 16, right? You go from 12 to 16?
That's just a typo.
Yeah, alright. The tournament liaison will hold responsible for paper damage, blah, blah, blah. Well, do you wanna do this, you have to have something in there, so, do you wanna hold this until it's cleared by the staff?
You say overtime?
You wanna make sure that you will hold something back until it's cleared by the staff there that there is no damages to the course or to any of the carts, right? So it's no different than anywhere else, that way you're not on the hook for anything, chasing dollars, that's just a thought, so I don't know what,
Do they have somebody that checks the carts as
I-
they come in?
I got no idea. I mean, there's
What?
a lot of carts coming at the same time, so there's a lot to do, but, sometimes you may not know until the next, once they're gone, you'll never, I didn't do that, right, that's not, so, I don't know how you deal with that.
Well, the only way you can do that is you're gonna have to put more staff on
It's
it.
like a rent-a-car, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to put more staff on for that. If you have a tournament, they're coming in all at once.
Yeah.
I mean, that's if you
I
put,
mean, sometimes you'll catch it the next day.
Yeah, but it's too late at that point, they can say that didn't happen here. It's no different than a rent-a-car when it comes in, I mean, this is really what you got, it's like a rental agency, that's what you are, right, at that point in time. I don't know how you wanna deal with that.
Are we talking like a scratch, or are you talking
No, broken windshield,
windshields? I mean,
broken
those are-
windshield,
Those are, you'll see, like.
I don't know, well, you hope you see, if they flap it down, you may not see it, I mean, I don't know what's gonna end up happening,
Yeah.
crack off the rear fender or something to that effect, it's,
I think if the staff is alerted to look
Yeah.
for that, they did the best they can with, as they come in, they start cleaning them, they go in and eat, if they see anything, they need to report it to you immediately. You might miss something, but they're gonna do the best they can, I imagine.
those are just my comments on that whole thing, so.
I have a couple of comments.
Shoot.
Did they always, as far as any tournaments, always pay the full amount after the fact, after the tournament? Because you talk about 1 week here.
Yes.
after the tournament.
They
That's
have-
what-
Yeah, they
They have
put a
a
deposit,
Yeah.
You put a deposit and
balance
they
is
pay it.
paid within a week, yeah.
Right.
That's correct, that's what we're talking about, if they don't pay within a
So-
month, you charge them the fee.
It was in the shirt to that.
Yeah, right. So you never had them pay in full prior to the.
Up front, you mean?
Yeah.
No.
No. Usually, I mean, when you do something at a restaurant or something, let's do it that day, but whatever, I think that sometimes they may be chasing dollars still, right?
Well, because they get checks that day for
Yeah,
registration.
people right there, that's, yeah.
And sometimes they have raffle money that they have to deposit, so
But
I
you-
think
he
7 days is
He said he
good.
never had a problem with that,
Yeah.
right?
7 days is good.
No, okay.
And, Article 1, we only hold a $250 deposit for the tournaments?
Mhm.
Okay, I think that's low, but.
I mean, you're gonna get paid, I mean, that's just a put.
That's the seed money, that's the front money, somebody's to front that money, right?
Yeah.
And so you're
Yeah.
chasing
Right.
people away if they don't,
Is that
They don't have that.
refundable?
I'm sorry?
Is that refundable?
I don't know, that's a good point.
Mark, is that refundable?
We have refundable.
Yeah, it sounded
If
like.
they cancel ahead of
Well,
time, and
You're
then,
nice,
How-
you're nice,
No, it's
Well,
not
okay.
that they canceled the day of or a week of, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure, you know, it was.
Months
If
ahead
you're
of
gonna
time.
refund it, you need to spell out under what circumstances
Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
refund it.
Yeah,
Is it
We
a
had to go through the
deposit?
town,
Right,
you know, the clerk's office and, or
That, yeah, that would probably be, yeah.
we had to fill out
so,
some sort of form for it.
so I book a tournament now, and I give you the 250. The tournament date is July 1. On May 1, I cancel. Do
Well,
I
figure,
forfeit?
like, if you, and when I did some research on other contracts, it
Yeah.
was, if you cancel 30 days in advance, you can get your refund,
I
but
think
if
you
you
should-
cancel within 30 days.
I think you
Then
need to
it's-
spell that out.
yeah, I would
think
too.
so.
Because,
Yeah.
agreed, you know, if it's prior to 30 days, you're gonna book those times, you're clear, but I would
But
say,
it's pretty much like if you go on vacation and you
Yeah.
book something and you have a 30-day grace
correct,
period.
right.
and if
So you
they
gotta
know
do
that
it.
that's what's gonna happen,
Right,
you know.
Well, they might,
they're-
was like, one, trying to hold the date, let's hold the date, and they may be
Yeah.
shopping around or whatever.
Exactly.
So I would spell out, if you cancel prior to 30 days,
30
you're
days.
refunded after that. It's not.
anything else? In contracts? No?
You good with it, Mark?
Mark, he keeps going in and out. Good, Mark? Good? Anything else? Good, alright.
No, I mean, I just wanted to recommend the options for inclement weather. I think having the food regardless, getting them on property, so then a decision can be made from there is the right way to go. And then obviously the amount for weekends to close the course. So I think both those will be addressed. One last question though is, I mean, typically I send out the contracts. Should that be coming from me or be coming from a town representative? That'd be my question.
Whoever the tournament director is, who's that liaison? Is that part of your contract?
No, I mean, no, not what I read. I think I'm just responsible for running the event or like managing the event, I guess. But I mean, I just feel like a town contract should be given by somebody that works for the town
Mhm.
I would
and like people held accountable from a town representative. Like I can't hold anybody. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong in that. If you let me, I'll do it. But
I mean,
I,
you're not
I don't know.
representative, like, of the outing, or you're not an extension of the town in these events?
Just feel like a town contract should probably have the signature of a town employee. But again, I don't know if that's the right thing or the wrong thing.
Yeah, well, there's no signature
On the form?
other than the outing people. You're not
Probably
signing
should be.
Marcel's.
It probably should be signed by both
Somebody
though,
should sign
as an
for it.
agreement.
Probably for both.
Yeah.
And since Saul is the liaison with Ramsey, I think it does kind of fall to, so in other words, it sounds to me like it's your responsibility to get the contract done, because it's a contract with the town, and then once that's done, it's a handoff, Mark, Mark runs the event. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, Mark could do all the legwork up front like he does now, but the contract itself could probably be signed by Saul
Mhm.
as the director of golf.
Right,
You know, so nothing changes except one signature coming from, and that is a town.
Strictly
employee.
talking about just the contract. You
Just
know, like if
contract.
anything ever
Contract,
came legality wise, you know, the town contract
And
should
you
probably
know
be
what?
written by the
Because
town.
we could come back and say, well, Mark's not a town employee, he's a
Yeah.
subcontractor, you know, so, you know, well, what is this all about,
Yeah.
you know? So, I would feel comfortable having a town employee sign the contract. Mark could do everything, with just one signature from the town,
You're right, that's fine. That's fair, fair enough.
or town manager, whoever. So as
That
long
was
as
the
it's
manager,
from
but
town.
the director of golf or whatever.
I recommend the attorney take a look at this before it's handed to any.
My recommendation, you put all this, the signatures are usually at the bottom.
Yeah,
Right.
Just because then it doesn't really force you to read it, but that's kind of
Yeah.
typical.
all of this over here.
no, just the signatures on the bottom.
Signatures.
Signature,
right.
date,
Okay.
printed.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's just a golf tournament.
Mhm.
You're not buying the property.
All right, anything else?
Yeah, but you're signing a contract.
Yeah, but you're not buying property, which I mean, just a con, it's a golf tournament.
All right. October P and L. Kind of hit on this a little bit earlier, but. So we're 22,000, we're down, revenue's down versus last year, right? Twenty-three, 24, 23, right? By about $24,000 thereabout. Looking through this thing, the insurance, is that, now you have things off to the side here, Saul?
Mhm.
It says timing,
Yep,
so what's that coming in next month?
that's notes from finance.
Okay, oh, I've got it. I got a question for you though, and I'm gonna keep harping on this thing and until we kind of, and it's the range revenue. You know, we have going back and forth between Marks and this thing. I mean, and I'll send an email to Arosh and Kevin, about this, and the range revenue was supposed to be, minimum $36,000, easy.
Well, that was an estimate by
No.
somebody who didn't have maybe all the information.
No, that was guaranteed, that was on the record.
What's that, Jim?
And so,
Why are you harping on that number? I'm
because
just
we
asking.
didn't do due diligence, the town did not do due diligence on that number. And
That's
we
not
relied
had
upon.
nothing to do with it, that came from Jerry, Jerry says we should be doing $35,000.
So we raised the rate,
So did we hold them to that? I mean,
but the problem that I have is that the town make a judgment based upon that.
See, we raised the rate because
We
had-
raised the rates and it didn't even cover the cost. So the town take over the range based upon that, and did they do their due diligence? And that's really what it comes down to. So,
Yes, but it's done, it's done now. What, we can't go
no,
back
you're
in
right,
time?
you're right, you can't go back in time, but you know what?
what did it make this year?
22,000
Okay.
so far.
Right.
Actually, that was through September. I take that back. We're at 26,240.
So we're gonna do 30.
Yeah, we still got another half a year, don't we, next year?
No, we have another month. This is for the calendar year.
Oh,
You have this
You do
month.
30.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're really messing with, for five grand, you're really getting them in a bunch?
Well, I'm not getting in a bunch. I'm just pointing something out that decisions were made based upon certain numbers.
And so noted,
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do, you know.
I don't know.
We can't go back,
We can't make it up.
so.
All right. Any other questions on P and O? We're down $24,000.
Rounds are way up though. Right?
Rounds are up, but we're down because its costs are.
Well, wait, no, revenue should be,
Revenue's up.
Yeah.
Revenue's up. revenue's up. For the, yeah, the costs are also up,
Right,
significantly
yeah.
more. Other than that, that's it, and so bank charges are down, which is, I think is pretty interesting. Why is that? Did we get a different vendor? Saul?
I mean, we are using a different, credit card company.
So we got a
His
different vendor?
4-Up uses some, you know,
Okay.
so
Because
I
it's
don't
down, I
know.
mean, that's down, and that was always a thorn in everybody's side, but, you know, $3,000 over what, the, you know, basically 4 or 5 months now, right?
I wonder how that equates to like how many transactions,
I have no idea.
yeah.
One question I had, so on the advertising line, so far this year, we haven't paid anything out?
Well, cause we haven't renewed our contract, we had a meeting with,
Deirdre.
Adrian
Yeah.
this week, she's gonna give us something in January, or I asked her to give it to us in January.
So that's interesting, we have the advertising, so, and I could be off the wall with this thing, so our rounds are up. We have it's very hard to get a tea time at certain times during the year, right? Maybe not now, but certain times through the year. So what services she can provide that we don't already have? I'm just throwing that out there, so.
Are you on Facebook or Instagram?
Nope.
Well,
That's why.
that's where a lot of it, the publicity.
She's
is.
terrific.
Yeah,
She's absolutely terrific.
covers
Yeah,
everything.
it is, it's,
She's doing, she
Mm-hmm.
every week, there's multiple posts about
Every day.
pictures
there's a theme.
of anything from events
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, we welcome this tournament, to pictures of all the people on the golf course having a good time. She's worth every penny,
Yeah, she is.
in my
She's good.
opinion.
She's
Okay.
very good.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's probably not that full 10, you probably have other,
She was 8.5 this past season, she
85
already
on
said she's gonna go up, so.
oh,
Yeah.
so she's probably gonna take most of that.
Like everybody else.
I suppose it goes up.
All right. Anything else? Open discussion. Can we have an open discussion?
Is it on the agenda?
Yes, sir.
So,
I don't see why not.
just to update everyone on the Goose Theater, I think we gotta send it to Mickey Hawks and get a,
So what happened with the cart?
what's that?
What happened with that cart? The golf cart that was running that thing around?
That,
What do you mean dead?
it looks like it's the
Yeah,
engine.
it could be.
Oh, really?
either-
Not holding the compression, so
That's
when you lose compression, you're done.
so I have a call with Mickey tomorrow, see if there's options.
Who, the Mickey's
Or
guy
not
from Easy Go?
Mickey himself, no, Mickey's, I thought he only rented carts, but I guess he does
He does
servicing
full
on
service.
carts.
Mickey Hawk,
Yeah, Mickey Hawk, where does he live, in Clinton?
Old Saybrook, I think.
Something.
Okay, so he can replace an engine on that thing? Is it worth?
No,
He's gonna diagnose it,
Yeah.
and then he'll let us know what's going on.
Probably looking at a new cart.
Well, can we just use a regular cart though? I mean,
You could, but it's gotta be, I mean, it's gotta
To
be
retrofit
outfitted, it's gotta be retrofitted.
And
I mean-
the maintenance carts don't work?
I was thinking,
Maintenance guys need them.
I was to use the maintenance cart, you know, when the dump body on it, like when you wanna go out, because you go out and run in or something like that, or?
That's when they're used the most.
So you need a dedicated cart in order to do this, that has to be retrofitted.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just put $2,000 worth of stuff into these Goosenators. I have two of them, they have brand new skis, they have new motors, new paint jobs, I mean, they're in my basement now, getting all done, all new batteries, you know, so, and when I gotta take them on a regular golf cart and I gotta hang on to it,
That doesn't make any
those,
sense.
they're
Okay,
bouncing
that-
all over the
that-
place,
that's-
and it's not good for them.
Do we have a cart down there, an older cart with a towing body on the back of it, where you can just use a trailer? Get a small trailer would be cheaper than buying an engine.
Well, let's see where
I don't know.
it's diagnosed as, and, you know, if we have an option to fix it, you know, and.
Well, how much is a cart? How much is a new cart?
then
Well,
you
we
buy
wouldn't
a
wouldn't buy a new one, we'd buy a
I use one.
But, I mean, you know, there's possibly some men's club donation there as well and stuff, I mean, so, I don't know, but.
what's $5,000 for a car, $10,000 for a car? I mean, I'm
Well,
willing to
well,
go
that one cost us 35, I think it was.
3,500?
Mhm.
Okay.
So I mean, if,
Well, that's, you've got CIP money that you could use for that. I mean,
well,
it's,
let's see where we are with the diagnosis. I mean, it could be 500, it could be
Yeah.
4,000.
alright, so
right?
for the
Like,
sunk cost at this point in time, if you have to buy a new car, they said, listen, this is not gonna work. It's done, right? So you're gonna cannibalize this thing for parts, that, at the end of the day, right? So the car's done, correct? You hold on to it if you need parts, so you just go buy another one, you've got.
Another one, I would
3,500.
retrofit it, I would weld the cage and all that other
Fine.
stuff for it, and, you know, all that stuff.
Worst case scenario, you just spend $5,000 and a CIP and get another one done, and there you have it. I mean, you're you know, without it, and it's the geese are
And you get a
all
new
over.
one.
The droppings are everywhere.
You get a new one, so you don't have to worry about it breaking down.
But that's a very good point. You know what?
Yeah.
Don't, it's
I mean,
what's a new one go for?
A
10?
lot,
10?
they're a
How much?
lot.
they're a lot.
10 grand?
Yeah, I mean, you know, and to be honest with you, you probably want electric because it's quiet, so you're not going up on golfers and everything else
That's
and
true.
annoying them. You know, so hindsight being 2020, if I were to suggest it, I suggest a nice electric cart. You know, that people who use the Goosenator, and that should be strictly for that use.
Mhm.
You know, this way here, you can let the battery die down, and charge it instead of plugging it in every day, so the battery will last forever. You know, I mean, little tender care, this thing will last forever. So,
Well, that kind of gets into some of the other things we talked about. I mean, this it's a 5-year lease that we have with our current carts, right? So if we're serious about even upgrading our carts, we really gotta start looking hard at what's required to set up reserves for a barn and where we would put a barn, right? So that, I keep wanting to dump stuff on you, but that's something that we have to
Another thing.
really address.
Another thing.
Well,
to look
it's
at.
also a matter of, and actually it reminds me of what was sent to the town for, the long-range plan. You were gonna send that out to
I'll
everybody?
write myself a note,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
You have to prioritize, cause you're not gonna be able to do, something with the tent and a new cart barn and new cart, I mean, so where does that stand?
I mean, the
What's
new,
most
the new
sad?
card barn, could be like through a grant.
absolutely, because you're going
You're
green.
going green.
Yeah, well,
That-
that's
that
fine,
could-
But
that
they gotta
could
get on
be-
it though. They
Well,
gotta
yes,
get on it.
but-
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's gonna do it?
Well-
That's,
That's,
If we're counting on,
have their grant writer.
yeah, well,
who's gonna,
They get you.
setting up a goal, okay, we're gonna write a grant, it's gonna be done
Shame on us.
Such
in
and such.
2024, or it's gonna be done in 2025, or what's the plan with the time frame? Set some goals.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe that's up to us to set some goals.
well, who's gonna write it?
Write the grant? Don't you have a grant writer?
I think we have one, but he's not like,
Mahoney or Maloney.
yeah, he's
Jim
not
Mahoney.
here, he's
Oh.
like
He's in
upstate.
Maine.
Yeah, Maine.
Maine?
Yeah.
He could write it
So-
in Maine.
No. That would take away from other stuff that you gotta do.
He's a
Is that a
subcontractor, he's not
winter
an employee,
have you
right?
ever
Not
written a
employee.
grant song? Is that a winter?
No, that's
not-
only,
He's
I
not
have not, but
hired by the town?
I think it's start looking into it.
Hired by the town, yeah.
Alright, anything else from discussion? No. Account balances?
The CIP is actually 52,702. Sorry for the typo.
Oh.
Okay.
The T sign, Gail and I got the email for our final invoice for the clock, so that means it's, once they get our check, it's probably ready to ship. That also means I gotta put some pressure on Earth Contractors to get, our project going, for the base, the foundation. But that's great news, for the clock project.
Can we schedule a dedication for opening day? That would be
It's
fabulous.
still gonna be next year, right? I mean, even
In the spring.
Yeah, you don't wanna do.
so we'll just
No.
like leave the clock in the storage for this winter, or
Yeah, I would think, and with the spring, I I did get, two, proposals from, one from Vital Sign and one from Sign Pro. I sent you the Sign Pro one. I have to get more clarification from Vital Signs. I'll pass this around if people are interested in. They had recommended an aluminum one.
What is it, Sign Pro?
Yeah,
Yeah.
versus a brass, cause it's less costly.
How much more?
I don't think the quote I got from Vital Signs is complete, cause there's just like night and day, so
Mhm.
I have to clarify. It was just an email, it wasn't a formal quote, so I've asked them for that. We can schedule it for opening day. I'm not gonna be here probably till April 1st, but I don't want that to hamper it.
Well, and I would, you have to ask a question, cause there's probably an internal battery, and the solar is charging that battery. So, will it, I mean,
Oh, like if we store it for the
if we
winter.
store it and
Will it-
it's not charged,
Mm.
you
Will
know,
that ruin
what
the
happens
battery?
in the spring, so you gotta ask that question.
That's a good point.
You know,
That's a good
every
point.
time I go down Farmington Avenue, I see that clock,
Yeah.
that's 5 o'clock on one side and 3:30 or so on the other.
I thought they fixed that,
They did
they
fix it.
fixed it.
Is both sides correct? I've only noticed one side is always correct.
One side is, well, I didn't see it
I
today.
guess you're not.
I
10:05.
You gotta
You know,
give
it's
me
I'll have
always
to look.
10:05.
Um,
Is it a problem?
Oh, I wouldn't know. I have no
Adjusting
idea.
it?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
we'll see, I mean, that's
Well-
more out in public, like, so you don't know what kind of,
Well, and I'm sure
You
it's
know.
not solar.
I mean, that too, I was just saying.
Oh, sure
that's
it's not
no,
solar.
it's probably not.
Which one, in town?
No, that's not solar.
No.
It's
No.
not solar. So this one's in solar and it adjusts to daylight savings time on its own.
On its own,
Really?
okay, all right,
Yeah,
Nice.
shipping.
There's
yeah.
actually a person looking to purchase a sponsorship for the
For the clock?
clock, so that's still something we're obviously gonna go forward with.
Oh, sure, cause we'll put the money towards the plaque.
And he was looking to do one of the whole signs.
Oh,
Is that
good.
still?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I
yes.
need to know because we put the sponsor's name on the plaque, so
I see.
if he's gonna be, how much is he talking about, 500?
I think that's what our
500?
original post or signage
Yeah,
was.
so 500, he's gonna be he gets his, T sign, and 500 is a,
There's the name's in my office, but
I don't remember if that's a gold sponsor
500, yeah, okay.
or whatever, I have to look up, I thought I didn't bring it with me. The categories.
the category of his donation, okay.
Oh, here it is. 500 would be a silver sponsor, because
Silver
that's what the
sponsor.
Lady Niners is.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have categories. The platinum sponsors, we have 6 platinum sponsors. Gold sponsors, we have 3 gold sponsors. And $500 are the silver sponsors, we have 3.
And
And
all
he
of
would
those
be
will be
for-
put on plaques,
On the one
On
plaque.
this one.
on this one? Oh, okay, oh,
Is there room for other sponsors on there too?
No.
Down the road?
Then down the road, you guys can come up with bricks or a
Okay,
second plaque or,
Got it, alright.
that's a nice looking clock. That's the way it's gonna look like,
yeah,
that's nice.
CONE.
And he wants a whole sign too?
Yeah, cause
That's it.
his dad used to play here, so now he plays here, so.
Yeah, well, that was part of the sponsorship at, I don't remember the
That
level.
goes way back.
Yeah,
We have to look at we'd have to dig up something on that, there was something on the whole signs.
Like an ordinance or something?
No,
No, there was
the
an amount.
prices.
Yeah, but
You have to
now-
go get it made up.
but we have blank ones, so if he wants to give us $500, give him a T sign.
Mhm.
And but I need to know before
I
we
think
order
there's still
this.
spots
Because
out
once
there
we
for
order
T-sign.
this, any sponsorship money would have to go into your
Is there, Mark?
T-sign account
T-sign.
for,
Yeah,
Whatever else you
beautification
wanted
of
to
that. And
Exactly.
It was done for beautification of the tees.
yeah, or if you wanna put, because there's gonna be cement around here, if you wanna put some flowers around here, or you wanna
Yeah, is
put
it gonna be
brooks.
maintenance free?
Well, the clock is, but
But around the clock, are you gonna
Well,
have
you-
an area?
Right now, it's just grass and
it's
mulch.
grass, it's
I
gonna
know,
be
but
a,
you have to worry about people, getting in there and mowing it and
they're gonna have to mow around
Yes.
that.
Mulch.
They're-
leaning against
Yeah.
the.
It's gonna
They
be
gotta pull
there'll
them
be
in.
a concrete base, which is bigger than the clock base.
or even stone or something, you know what
Well,
I'm saying?
that's up to Jerry to figure out with
Yeah.
his crew
I
what
think it
makes
should be-
sense.
Well, the next thing is a road by, you gotta get a go with the cloud,
Oh,
so
what?
it keeps the cleaning and all that.
Oh,
Gonna get
The
what?
rumba.
So, yeah, hopefully in the spring, and I say, if I'm not here, you have other committee representatives here, Sebi.
Yeah. Okay.
Planet-
Well, I think
All
it's-
these-
Still on vacation mode.
Yeah, well, all these people need to be invited, you need to get the press there. I say we, whoever, we need to get the press there, all these people need to be invited, we need to get the mayor there if we're gonna do a dedication. And then they need to get their, certificates for some of golf.
all the sponsors.
The only one that's got their certificate is the, Athletic Hall of Fame, nobody else has gotten their certificates.
And where's the location of the collect?
At the back of the first tee, kind of behind like where the blue tees are.
Towards the parking lot.
It will be on an angle so that you can see it hopefully from the putting green above, up by the flagpole. You can, you know, if you peek your head, and you'll see it when you drive in.
Okay.
It's not gonna be perpendicular,
Right.
because then you won't see it till you actually drive by it. So on an angle, just like it's kind of right here.
And I think there's some, they still have, T signs that are open.
Yeah.
Yes, there are two
Yeah.
signs that are open, so you could pick one of the open ones. Okay, good, I'm glad to hear that.
Alright, CIP, but with 52-702, you have your list of things that you wanna get done.
I have a meeting with the gang next week. So, but definitely, there are some thoughts on, you know, doing some hard pads this winter. And then, like I
Well,
told
when
you,
do they close down the asphalt?
what's that?
When does asphalt start closing down? I mean, sooner or later, right, they just shut it down.
Well, when I
You
say
can't do it in
winter,
winter.
probably more like, you know, when we get out of winter next year, into the season, and
Hey, Saul, I would suggest you get rid of that tree that's overhanging the carts.
that's the one
Yes.
Jimmy was.
Please, get a green tree.
I hate that tree too.
Well,
You don't think like,
You hear it all the time.
It tears the carts up.
like that,
Making
yeah,
them
but
filthy.
what does that do to hole 10? Like, does that
It
open
doesn't,
it up too much to where that tee shot is now like?
no, I don't think the teacher, it's just that the tree's there and it just tears the carts up.
If a shot goes there, Saul,
Right,
it's gonna be over the golfers' heads on
Exactly.
putting green on 15, so,
Yeah.
you know.
It's
you'll
gonna
just-
be, it
just
would
get
be
them
a
in the
crazy,
knees
it's not gonna, nobody's gonna.
crazy shot.
I mean, I've gone over there twice on that side.
Like, I got seen,
No, I agree
I'll
with
be
you.
straight up about it.
I have seen, yeah, like, you know, players get stuck there, so their second shot is from under there, or yeah, you
No,
can
I've never
stop
seen
it from going to 15 green or 16 tee.
No,
Yeah,
it's-
that tree's gotta go, the carts,
They are a mess.
they're a
Right.
mess.
Well, we should take some of the branches down.
No, just take the whole.
No, take the whole tree down, the whole tree.
I
It
agree.
just, it tears the carts up, it's bad.
It is, it's bad.
Your handicap was down by 2 strokes then?
Well, I told you, I put it over there
Well,
twice.
Jimmy will be able to see his ball, where it's going.
Doesn't matter, he's the next one in his
He
pocket
found it,
anyway.
he found
I
it,
found it, I found it.
it was in the bunker.
Alright. Very good. Alright, golf pro report, even though it's not on there.
He sent it out.
I know, but it's not,
Sorry
Oh,
for the.
oh, it's on
it's not on
the,
the agenda.
oh,
So we'll consider that part of open discussion, or no?
Sure.
Yeah, you gotta put it under open discussion.
Open discussion, alright, listen, you hosted the T-COP, I they did a great job respecting the course and tell Robin and Rich, great job, thank you very much for doing that, they did an excellent job cleaning up. The gift cards, I looked at that, so what's the status of that? I mean, can you issue gift cards at this point? Mark's frozen. Oh my gosh. I thought it was a pop-up
Frozen.
though.
What, are you going through my report?
Yeah, so what's the status of the gift cards? And
Yeah, I talked to Saul today. He said they're available online. And Saul, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're gonna send out an email or something about it.
I will,
Um, so
so what,
there is that. Yeah.
you can get an e-gift card, so you'll buy it online and you print something out. You can also come in the shop and get your traditional gift card.
alright,
So, but I remember Mark saying there's a lot of like out of towners that buy these things, so it'd be nice to, hopefully the email reaches them or their, pals and
So-
gets
so-
to them.
so gift cards don't expire in the state of Connecticut.
Gift cards do not expire.
So what happens, don't take this the wrong way, Mark, so Mark's leaves. Is that a contract between Mark?
No, the gift cards are to the town, like,
It's not his merchandise.
yeah, it's for golf fees.
I don't offer gift cards. I'm talking about town.
Yeah, he has his own.
Okay, oh, you have your own?
I don't even offer them.
Got it, perfect,
Okay.
thank you. And then, are you blasting out now with, frost delays or no? Or is that just by
Well,
phone?
we would email the T sheet. So, and then if there's no email, we give a call. We've only had a couple frost delays.
Well, it's still early, so it's gonna start coming up, so
The plan is to email
a
the
blast.
T sheet, yeah.
Why not just do a blast?
Oh, we could do that too.
And that way everybody knows, because
So
they're
you
gonna show up,
email everybody that's gonna be playing?
If you're having a tea time,
Oh, okay.
wouldn't it be easier just to do an email blast of everybody?
good,
Or just post something on the website, I mean, I don't know, I'm just,
Well, if you make a tea time and you send out it's gonna be a frost delay, everybody's gonna get it whoever made a tea time.
whoever has a tea time.
So that's it.
And if they don't have one, we usually call them.
Exactly.
But
Right.
sometimes like JB, he makes it for like 8 of y'all, 12 of
Yep.
y'all. He'll get the email, but it's gonna be up to him to tell y'all. 'Cause
Yeah.
we only have his on the names.
How early do you make the call?
I mean, once Jerry gets, once the team gets here at like 6:30,
Oh, okay. That's
You know,
good,
whatever,
that's good.
Well, pretty much,
you pretty much know the night before sometimes.
Yeah.
You know.
and when you wake up in the morning, you're gonna see the frost in the ground.
Look
Yeah.
out the window.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, look out the window.
well, you never know. The staffing report, Mark, is there anything that you would do different, or what changes you made, you think should be implemented going forward? With, the role changes and things have happened on your report?
You're saying you want anything different? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or anything, is there anything that you would do different, what would you change, things that you would think be implemented? Going by your report, the last, staffing report, my roles changed this year, from what you guys have
Oh,
seen.
so I just think it makes sense for me to close the golf shop, my portion of it after Thanksgiving. Regardless if the course is open or not. It's just there's really not a lot going on there.
Mark, did you have a lot of people by, at the Christmas party that day?
Yeah. We'll put stuff out for that day, but I'm just saying in general, it doesn't make much sense for me to hire somebody and put them in there on a daily basis when no one's coming in.
Okay.
So Mark, would you take your merchandise out of there, after November? Because you don't want people walking in and
Yeah,
you wanna buy something
Yep.
and,
No, no.
he's not there.
The plan would be to take everything out of there
got it.
Okay.
if I was gonna close it.
No.
Alright.
So somebody comes.
I mean, you
to
just
play,
put
wants to
yourself
buy
you
golf.
just put yourself in my shoes. You wouldn't hire anybody if nobody's golfing.
Nobody's buying, no.
You wouldn't
No, I-
hire
no, I'm
somebody. Yeah.
understanding
Okay,
that.
they bring up a good point.
No, I understand that, Mark, that makes sense to me from a business standpoint, but I'm also thinking if somebody comes in to play golf and they wanna buy golf balls.
When's the course gonna close?
First snowstorm.
Yeah.
First snowstorm.
No,
Not yet.
No.
it was December 31 or something like that.
It was before
There's
that.
there's a dead date.
There was a cutoff date on that. There
Well, it was in December sometime, wasn't
Yeah.
it? But if it's nice weather, would you shut it
No,
down?
we shut it down anyway.
That happened.
Yeah.
And then we talked about, because, the course has to heal. Listen, it needs a rest.
Well, also, the on again, off again, on again, off again is confusing, it's hard to manage, it's hard to staff, but we don't have have you guys started you haven't probably even talked about that
It
yet.
just started coming up, the question in the last
Yeah.
week or so,
When did we close last
I
year?
think December 11th.
Mark, when did we close last year?
It was the second week of December.
So your contract,
That's because we did the contract, we did, they cut all the trees, that was doing the cutting the trees down there. That's what one of the big things why we shut down too.
I probably should think about starting.
it's starting something to think about. What does your contract say as far as your time goes, Mark? It goes from when to when?
I still have to do my job and everything, but I don't have to keep the golf shop open. Merchandise concession, I certainly don't have to do that. But I still have to be on property 6 days a week, for whatever amount of hours. But there's no language in there regarding the golf shop merchandise concession.
But we're talking about when the course closed, shuts down.
Point is well taken.
When did the
Mark,
course shut
if-
down?
If you're there, if you are there 6 days a week and somebody just wants a dozen balls, would you still be able to sell them that? Or you would take the register out and everything, or?
I mean, I've never had to do this before, so I'm not sure what I do, but I'm not going to be there 7 days a week from open to close.
Right.
That I know.
Yeah,
No,
no, I understand, no, you can't be, I understand, but I don't know.
I have no problem
No,
just packing it away.
There are courses that don't have any merchandise after November and December either. So this would not be the first one. I mean,
Okay.
I've walked into golf courses and there's nothing there. You just pay to play golf, and if you don't have balls, oh well.
But it wouldn't be a problem, if you say you're gonna shut down, say you're gonna shut down December 22nd. The course is shut down. So nobody's coming there, you're not gonna sell any equipment, you're not gonna do anything. So once you make that closing date, then he's done.
No,
Basically,
that's not what
I
I'm
know,
saying.
I know he's taking his stuff out of the shop,
Yeah.
and he's not gonna be there.
Right,
But so when is the course gonna close? That's what you, when is the course gonna close?
We
but
don't know
there's
yet.
gonna be a time between him not being there and the
Right.
course is still open,
Right, he's
that's
taking-
the time frame we're
I know,
talking
he's taking
about.
this, he's shut down after
Correct.
Thanksgiving.
Sounds like in
Correct.
December, right?
Right.
Correct.
But
Okay.
at that time, maybe you're lucky to have
Yeah,
5
but-
people.
Exactly.
You probably, yeah,
Right.
you probably only get a
Right.
week or two in.
I mean, there's nothing on his contract that says like amount of hours or days
Well,
that they
right.
right, Mark?
Mark's really good and Saul's really good about communicating to the, I'm sure there'll be an email blast going out saying the shop closes on this day. And there will be there will be nothing there, so when you
merchandise
come
available.
prepared, you have your balls,
That's
and
right. And
Right.
People
Done.
know.
Well, that's good, yeah.
as long as it's communicated, it's on them.
All right.
Is Ramsey having his Christmas parties? Mark?
He's
Discussing dates, but it could be the weekend of December 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, okay, you think about that.
All right. Anything else?
Notice the 2 seniors wrote that date down, it's so.
Yeah, because we won't remember.
No, I didn't notice that, but it's duly noted.
That's it.
Okay.
Well, I want to congratulate you and Gino
Yeah.
for winning that tournament.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But,
Thank you. I know I carried Gino.
Yeah.
so
But no, thank you.
why was the tournament held in Massachusetts?
Because we have courses in the Connecticut PGA in Massachusetts, in Western Mass.
Okay,
All right.
that makes sense.
All right. It is now, what time is it? It's 7:29. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Aye.
Jimmy Green, motion to adjourn. Second, Nancy Berger. Thank you. That's an all-time record, 7:29.
Thanks, guys.
I